Hello, hello. Happy Thursday, May 28th, 2026. How is everybody? Let's see what's cooking here. All right. Um, Today's a weird day. It's Thursday. I have the stream, and then after I get done with the stream, we do we do the podcast. So it's Stream Thursday. Today, I'm going to get interrupted at least once during the stream because I've got a Twisby order and I've got a Midori order coming in at some point. So I'll have to be interrupted very briefly just to accept those packages. Actually, I think they're both coming UPS, so I'll be interrupted once and probably pretty soon. So we'll do that, and we'll see what we got. I've got some pens pulled for this afternoon. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like 6 that we're going to assemble and test today, which will be fantastic because I really want to get these out of here. They are very tempting, and some of them anyway. And then we'll move ahead with, I've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 interesting pens pulled to start next, which we will disassemble. We'll get those started, disassemble them, and they'll be ready for sacks on Monday. So let's get to it. All right, so here's what we got. The ones with sacks are the ones we're going to assemble, and the other ones we're going to leave. I'm going to buy a tool for this one. This one we can't open, and this one here, I really need to replace. This is the wrong filling unit for it. So those are going to go. Those are going to go in the lovely trays that I have of pens that are disassembled. That something's wrong with them, and I need to fix them. So, but we can assemble these and write with them. Hello, Russell. How are you? And we got to clean the caps. Hello, hello, Gabriel. What is cooking today? It's a nice slow day so far. Good. I always say Thursday is my it's not my least favorite day of the week. It's my 7th favorite day of the week. But at the end of the day, I feel good because I've gotten up early and I get all my shipping done. I get all that stuff done, and I got a lot of time to do other things. So you had a vintage Sheaffer white dot 23 karat gold electroplated fountain pen gold nib model 70 medium arrived. Purchased it through eBay. They sent a rollerball. Oh man. You like that? 7th favorite day of the week. This is a little bit tight. What I hate is lately I've been waking up 5 minutes before my alarm goes off. My cat gets down in the morning. He gets off the bed. And then right before my alarm goes off, he knows. And it's different every day. You know, Mondays, Wednesdays are different from Tuesdays, which are different from Thursdays. And he seems to know the 7-day schedule. And he jumps up and he starts licking me in the nose. And then when I roll over, he starts licking me like in the elbow. If you've never had a cat lick you in the elbow, it's a very, very strange experience. Just put a little bit of heat this up a little bit. A little bit of silicone on there just to give it a little bit of an easier time. Really don't think it needs to be sealed because it's just really pretty tight to begin with. Mm. You're gonna let your Scottish Terriers jump up and put their noses on my nose until I wake up? Yours wants to have breakfast exactly 30 minutes before your alarm? Yeah. All right. Got that in. Boy, that was not easy. I just hope the sack didn't twist in the process. I don't think it did. My cat also seems to understand when he's not been a good boy in the middle of the night. And you know, there's like a zero strike policy. If he starts acting up, start chewing on stuff or trying to get on a counter, I kick him out. Close the door. He's on his own. So if Lisa gets up, you know, earlier than I do, or gets up in the middle of the night, and then she leaves the door open, and then he comes back in. It's almost as like if he's sorry, and he comes in and he's like, "I'm sorry, I'll never do it again until tonight." Hmm. We're gonna adjust that nib slightly. All right. Just gonna move a couple things around here. All right. Let's start with this guy. Very unusual wasp, I guess, at least from my perspective. You requested a refund and the seller does not accept returns? Well, I don't know, man. That's not as advertised. Pulse nicely? Oh, and this is called gray something. What is this called? I had this written down on a piece of paper and I threw the paper away. Let me see if I can find it. I had it in a text message. Lawn. Nice flexible nib, actually. This may be one that makes its way to the podcast today. That's pretty super cool. Guarantee you get this. Your friends won't have this one. That's nice. If I collected celluloid pens, I would keep this one in a heartbeat. Super cool. All right. Next up, Conway Stewart. What is this? 12. It's a tiny guy. Let's adjust this nib first. Ooh. No sense in inking that up. It's a pretty beefy nib. Seems tight, so I'm gonna. Any bets on how broad this is? It's a nice nib. Nice posting, thinner. Oh, hang on. I got more stuff than I expected from UPS today. The Lamy order I forgot about. It's kind of stubbish. Very nice though. Thin, beautiful pattern. Yeah, it's a pretty pen, isn't it, this Conway? I've never been a huge Conway collector. I find it interesting that a large majority sometimes of Conway nibs happen to be um, broader. Um, I've collected the relief pens over the years, and those are all, large percentage of those are oblique broads or oblique double broads. All right, next up. This guy's a little shorty, so I think I'm going to post it. Ebonized Pearl, very nice. Balance. Oh. It is nice nib day. Good afternoon, Jason. How are you? Welcome to Nice Nib Day. This one gave you a little bit of a, you know, that extra fine feedback, but I mean, look what you could do with it. You know. Yeah, it's always a good day. Yeah, yeah. Must type 9. Hello. Hope all is good. Yes, today's a good day. Any day you can write with the fountain pen is a good day. Well, that's nice. A little polish on some of these and it'll be nice to get these up and out of here. These came from a collection that I was not expecting to have to purchase. Just it didn't just sort of show up, but hang on, just dropped something. It's better. This is a De La Rue, the De La Rue pen. This nib also looks good. Well, it looks like it should be broader than that. Nice. A lot of tipping on this. Holy cow. Nice long section. Good looking pen. I am not going to collect English pens. Except hard rubber Onotos. And hard rubber swans. And hard rubber reliefs. What else am I missing? All right, back to this side of the pond. Such a nice color, isn't it? It's Green Day, apparently. Do I talk myself into collecting it? No. It's got to be it's got to be hard rubber. Yeah, this will work. Someday I want to collect all of these too, but only after I collect all of the hard rubber pens. And I do mean all. Real sharp lever end on that. Holy cow. All right, last but not least. Now this one I'm not expecting miracles because it is a manifold, but it is a kind of a broad manifold. But who doesn't love a Waterman 52? Especially one that's got the red wax in the number. Yeah, that'll work. That will work. Look at that. Vintage pens scare you a bit since it looks like they break down on you. No, I mean, you just have to, they just need to be restored. It's like a vintage car, but with like a million less moving parts. And you have to treat them like a vintage. Just almost missed my apron there. I mean, you got to treat them like a nice vintage object. You can't be tossing them around like you toss a Coeco Sport or a Twisby around. I always say, it's our responsibility as vintage pen owners to I'm just borrowing these pens. How many people's hands have these gone through since this pen was made in the 1920s? Let's give these pens their best life going forward. And you'll probably be all right. Those are nice. That's a nice tray of pens right there. It's a cool way to look at that, borrowing this part of the pen's life. Yeah, I mean, we're not here forever. We're not guaranteed anything. We have no idea. We have no idea if we come back. Chances are it's, whatever you believe, the day comes, it's lights out, Or as, who was it that said, I heard the other day, I forget who it was, said, death is like, it's like what happens before you're born. So all this stuff, whatever's here, goes to my daughter, and then it goes, after my daughter, and then, I don't know. Hopefully she sells it off before it's her turn, and it'll make somebody else happy after I get rid of it. Yeah, it's a nice tray. These pens always are nice when they leave the bench, but this is especially nice. As that's someone's collection, it has a neat theme. These all came from the same collection. This one came from my parts bin. But yeah, these came from somebody's collection that I bought recently. Sometimes you'll seek out monogram pens. Had one from a Sylvester Biggs. How vintage is that? Assuming Sly isn't on the channel. Yeah. Yeah, I like engraved pens. Especially pens from like the 1920s or earlier. Overlays with engravings on them are super special. As long as they were done professionally. And especially if they're more than just initials or a name, and it's like to Elsie, Yeah, who knows what vintage pens, what documents they may have signed. You have a family photo album that belonged to your great-great-grandmother. Wow. Yeah, I bought these pens primarily because there were a couple in the collection that I was interested in. So, you know, you kind of got to take it all. Thankfully I'll make my money back on probably these 5. I've got another batch of them that I finished last week. And I'll make a few dollars on those, and then we'll move on to the next whatever. And maybe next week we'll work on getting that electronic spinner set up. I still haven't finished working on all the pens from the Chicago show yet. We're going to tack some of those today. Nice 52. Really nice. I should probably make sure I don't have something like that. Because, I mean, if it comes from the parts bin, it's basically free, right? Electronic spinner, you've missed something. Yeah, I'll show it to you in a minute here. Speaking of shows, you're really looking forward to the one in New York City. It will be your first one. Your first show. Your first show is always special. All right. Those are beautiful. This is I should stop right now because that's amazing. Let me show you what we're going to work on next. And then I'll show you the spinner. I got a new spinner. All right, this is the next tray. Actually, these 5 here are actually from that same collection as the last one, so I just want to kind of get those pens done, get that collection taken care of, and then we've got a number of Canadian. These are both Canadian balances. Is this one Canadian too? I think. No, this is that's a special balance. This Canadian. This one is W. Roy Hassler in this beautiful carmine. I kind of love them sometimes when they don't have the white dot. White feed, super cool. Look at the color on this one. That's pretty nice, huh? I've seen worse. This one actually has a threaded joint on the end so you can put a taper on for a desk pen. I've come up with the world with the electric salad spinner, and next I'll be looking for an electric desk set. I think I have one. These are nice. Nice Canadians. And they have these weird Some of them had these weird, unusual clips that were common with Canadians. All these nibs on these Esterbrooks are kind of garbage. And these, I'm just working backwards here. I got two stylographs. This one's a German piece. We can blacken this up a little bit. See if that piston works. I don't know. And this one is very interesting. I was tempted to keep this because it's different. It's hard rubber. Williamson stylograph. The weight is actually working. Looks like it's working correctly. Made in USA, but it doesn't exactly say where in USA it was made. There was a Williamson in... Oops, I did this wrong, didn't I? Yeah. There was a Williamson in Wisconsin. But it wasn't Williamson's. It was Williamson. So more research is necessary. So we got those. All right, let me show you the spinner. Yeah. This was a total fluke. I'll set this off to the side here. Lisa and I were at Home Goods or TJ Maxx, one of those two, one day, and I don't remember what we were there for. And we're looking around, and they often have salad spinners, and Lisa keeps saying, well, do you need an extra salad spinner? Do you need a second one? Like, no, like one's enough. I only have two hands. Why do I need a second one? Well, we're there, and then we see this guy. We look at it, and I'm like, I think it was maybe $20. Now, you do notice that there was a crack here in the lid. Conveniently, there was a piece of cardboard that covered most of the top, so we couldn't see it. And as luck would have it, or bad luck would have it, this was the only electric one. Not only did they have, but any of the Home Goods or TJ Maxx stores in the surrounding area have. And I wasn't going to drive all over the place. I mean, you can get them on, you can buy them for about $40, but this was like 20. And the lid is, it's kind of, not a huge deal breaker. So I just need to put my things in, and then this rests in there, and then this little part here goes in here. So we kind of line it up, and it goes on, and then there's a charging port here, USB-C. This pull, I wish this was like a tab or something, but it's not. You can charge it via USB-C. And then watch this. Now, I have, I've got a couple turkey basters. I have a turkey baster that I'm going to use for this, but then all you do is that awesome or what? It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. It actually fits on, it sort of fits. If I put this part on my other spinner, it sort of fits in there, and it sort of spins it out a little bit. But it's not quite the same size, so it doesn't really work. Although, well, I guess it doesn't. I was gonna say because that's already got the pieces attached. So I just have to I got to put my turkey baster in my zip ties, and screw something in there. But I mean, how great is that? It's good size. It's nice. This part is nice, thick plastic. Yeah, if I'm sad, I'll just pull this out just to put a smile on my face because it's just really, it's just too fun, right? It's too fun. You know, you don't have to sit there and you're gonna pump that other stupid thing. So yeah, that's Salad Spinner 3.0. And for anybody new who's in the chat, either on Twitch or YouTube, you're watching this. Yes, you use a salad spinner to spin out your pens, so you don't have to do. You know, I used to flick them and do this thing into a garbage can. You know, put my hand in front of it. You know, I mean, you repair 15, 20, 25 pens a week, man. That hurts. That hurts. You got to find something else to work on that. So anyway. All right, let's what is it? 157. So yeah, we got time to disassemble these. I might since I got 4 packages sitting on my counter, I do kind of want to check them in. Because anybody who was looking for Twisby root beer, supposedly that's in one of the boxes I have. Yeah, it's totally worth it. Yeah, and so I was like, well, I didn't like that it was cracked, but I can't get another one for $20. You know, I don't know, put some sealant on it or something. Super glue it. I don't really care. Look at that long sack, huh? But now this is piston. And I think this weight is frozen inside here, so these always have long, super long threads. So yeah, you check, and the funny thing is that we're calling around to the couple of the local TJ Maxx, say, hey, listen, do you have another one of these that'd like to return this and this, and like we got people who like had no idea what a salad spinner was. I mean, like younger kids, and they were like, what? Yeah, you spin your lettuce out. It was hilarious. Lisa just gave up. Like, okay, we're just keeping it. That's got original sack on it. All right, these I haven't checked. These may be restored, but I really don't know. If they were restored, I have no idea how long ago it was that they were restored. These are from a collector who I'm pretty sure probably never used these, so. Might have to soak that one. There's a little gap, which is good because water will get in there and whatever adhesive is used to. Yeah, it's an older sack. Yeah, it'll be good to get these resacked. Had to help a customer. New spread. Yeah, we moved over. We got another batch. Oh yeah, good thing I checked. There's nothing in there. Yeah, nice, a couple of nice, really nice Sheaffers. You know, full size, not oversized, but I'm anxious to try these Canadians. Sometimes the nibs are a little bit softer. Ooh. That is not budging whatsoever. Let's try this one again. Russell, you all alone over there on YouTube? I don't see anybody else in the chat. Yeah, it moved a little bit, but I think I want to soak it. Ooh, cool feed. Feed. It's not Friday. It's Thursday, isn't it? I was going to say it's Feed Friday, but I guess I haven't streamed on a Friday in 6 months. So there we got a little holder, and that's what holds. You can see that's what holds the needle from coming out. All right, so we're going to gently put that in. So I got to let a little water out of my ultrasonic. I got too much in there. Okay. Oops. All right, I'm not going to try to pull that out. Silly question, do those technical pens take regular fountain pen ink? Yes. Regular fountain pen ink. If anything, that's a pen that you definitely don't want to put anything thick in, because the tolerance there is between that needle and the housing is there's not much there. You just stopped in, you got coffee with Fred, and stopped at the local antique shop. You picked up an advertising blotter, dip pen with the feed, and a half-full bottle of Sanford's Pennant Brown ink. Cool. Pennant Brown. All right, so we got a long feed on that one, so I'm going to know which one that is. It's always nice when you do it in multiples and they all are distinctly different. You know, this one's got a white bead on it. There's no mistaking which one that goes to. Alrighty-ho, neighbor. Pretty pressed glass bottle. Is it the small pennant or the big pennant? You most often see the small, what is it, like a half an ounce bottle. Every once in a while, though, you'll see they made like a huge 4-ounce bottle. Hey, Spicy. What's cooking? Well, those Esterbrook nibs are jammed up. Most of the time you see these guys, this just happens to be cardinal red. So, number 246. These are, what does that say? 3/4 ounce. Sanford's on the side. But I have another one that's like about somewhere. I think I know where it is. It's about like this big. It's huge. Yeah, this is tiny. This is the smallest size, 3/4 ounce. Well, the bots love me today, don't they? That's 2. See ya. But yeah, this is the... Where's that dip pen when I need it? It's a really bright ink. I actually have a full counter display. I kind of feel bad, but I have it's a really cool Sanford display. It's round, and then it has slots where you have to put them in like at an angle like this, and then they stack up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like six per slot. And then you have, what are there? 1, 2, 3. There's probably like 8 different slots, so you can fit almost 50 bottles in this spinner, and it spins. It says Sanford on the top. It's pretty cool. I picked it up at a show one time, and it was full, and I sold off like there were full bottles, all the full bottles of it, and then I kept the display because I didn't know what to do with it. So, but this is the only bottle of Cardinal Red I got left. And if you really wanna be depressed, the display is marked. The display has the price tag on there of 15 cents per bottle. Let's see here. So this should just unscrew. Doesn't seem to be much in the way of ink inside the cap, but which I was really hoping for, because then I could just looks like a washer clip. This part is loose. Should have Waterman do a custom Cardinal Red ink for you to sell. Yeah, I don't think that would ever happen. I'm gonna I'm gonna toss this in the ultrasonic. We'll see what happens. The heat. I'm worried about putting too much heat on it because the clip spins. I'm not worried about this getting any more discolored. So these can go in. This looks like it could use a little help. Just going to put these in there. We'll spin these out. Yes, this small number 296. The ink in the bottle appears clear. There's a goofy looking blob on the cap. I use with the dip pen just in case. 15 cents. Yeah. You got all three for 6. Yeah. Yeah, 15 cents. Can you imagine? Do they have a... is a scented ink usually no good with the vintage pen? You've been loving some of the KWZ scents. I'm waiting for the next sales spinner. I don't know how KWZ would be with vintage. You'd have to, it would be something you'd have to test. Scented is really not the, I don't think is really the main problem. eBay issues your refund on the pen. You can buy the nib section and squeeze converter for like 57 bucks. Yeah, you can swap them out on the rollers. Which is kind of nice. I've done that before. I got a nice sterling, for lack of a better term, Cisellet. Imperial, but it was in a roller ball. Which is fine, I guess, you know, but I waited till I found the right section. And then I made it a fountain pen. Cap and barrel in excellent shape. Yeah. Just switch over. You have to be careful though, because sometimes not all while you might get a nib section to fit, it might not fit with a converter. So there are rights and wrongs. Or rather, some that fit better than others. Some have a deeper section. It doesn't like to play well. Just clean out these. You get dirt that gets in here, you get ink. When a sack busts, you get polish, and somebody polishes it and then forgets to clean this out. This is a pretty cool stylo. Like right here, we've got somebody polished this at some point. And you know, sometimes you just don't see it because it goes in kind of dry. And then as it goes in kind of clear, and then as it dries, it'll turn white. Not pen related. Your customer just paid you with a steel penny? Wow, yeah, that's cool. Like they didn't think that was something different? Did they know? That is the one thing I miss about having a shop. Just checking all the change. Like the one day I had some, what were they from some people from Norway came in, I think. She had no clue. And they paid entirely in like, I forget what they were, like 1930 silver certificates. Yeah, I'll take every single one of those you got. Can I interest you in a preppy? $4. No clue. Wow. You know, who knows? They probably had American dollars sitting around and they don't, maybe they didn't get to the United States very often. And I mean, well, barely didn't get to the United States for almost 100 years. She's here from China for a few months. Yeah, yeah. Okay. That's about the only way you get that stuff nowadays. Probably got it as change, thought it was a dime. Oh. Yeah, we'll take this old thing. Yeah, we'll take care of that for you. Probably worth a dime. That's probably about it, huh? All right. When you worked at the bagel shop, someone used 5 consecutive numbered $1 silver certificates. Wow. That's worth some money. I don't know though, those paper money collectors, they're a different breed. I just couldn't do it, It's bad enough to have, do you ink the pen or not kind of conversation. But I mean, you can't have a single crease or anything in the bill. And speaking of a shop, are you planning any pop-up events? Yeah, we've talked about it. we originally said, well, you know what, we'll do it every quarter. Well, you know, we did it in December, and here we are. It's May. Maybe now that it's summer and Lisa's on her summer schedule, maybe we might do it, because it's, at least then I'll have help. Because I mean, when we did it last time, it was, I would say it was pretty successful. We were, I mean, when people were here, it was busy, you know. But I just need help. I can't be the only one here. Because if, you know, 3 people show up, 4 people show up, then it's hard to give everybody the service they desire. But it's inevitability, because she still does work Monday through Thursday. Just gonna spin these out. My cap holder keeps coming out. I might have some time tomorrow. I think I'm gonna work on that other spinner. This is kind of a pain. All right. This really should come off. Hey, Gary, welcome. Well, I don't see any reason why this shouldn't come off. I may have to put it in the Dr. G's just as a whole, but I'd like to tighten it up. Clip is a little loose. Well, you know what? Let's try it. This guy for sure. Put a little bit extra in there. Gonna need a new bottle of Dr. G's pretty soon. I may probably replace these nibs with Esterbrook nibs. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I guess there was some stuff in there. I'm going to soak this part a little bit longer. This seems to be working now. Or at least it's moving. It came out. Finally got your pens from the auction. Let's just see if we can get one of these open. This one didn't budge at all, but Pierce is a good guy. Really good guy. I've known him a long time. Very happy for him that he's his business is doing well. You're impressed? Saving up for the next auction next month? Yeah. He actually emails me. He sends me a message every month. He's like, hey, you know, there's might be some things you might want for your shop. Oh, we got a little movement. There we go. All right, this one we had some movement on earlier. Or at least there's a break between the section and the barrel that I can see. So at least maybe a little water might get in there and help with the there we go. Too big. In my opinion. Makes up for not being able to access USA pen shows. Wish there were similar auction for pen parts. Yeah, well, he's Canadian. He often has parts that are, well, lots that are have parts in them or are parts worthy. Well, this has got a US nib on the Canadian pen. Okay, so that one's single tone. Got the Dr. G cam here. Pretty good. In the ultrasonic. I was like, where did that nib go? Get the last bits of sack off. And then we'll run the emery board over it. that was convenient. I just reached in to pull these out, and the ultrasonic stopped. Now, my problem with the North American pen auctions is I've got two options. I can either buy pens from the auction, or I can spend that money at a pen show. But I usually can't do both. All right, let's the pen show will also be cheaper. I mean, you never know, right? I mean, sometimes you get an auction winning, and it's, you're the only one that bids on it. There's just a larger chance of finding something at any of the pen shows that I'm going to attend. And I'm not usually looking for anything in particular. So at a show, it's easier to pick and choose. I never know when someone's just going to say. I mean, when I was in Chicago, a friend of mine that I always buy pens from him. He had a binder full of pens on the side of his table, and it was the whole binder. It was the whole collection of pens for like $1,200. I thought about it for about a solid day before I realized it was not it wasn't a good deal for me. But you never know when that someone's going to come up with 15, 20 pens, and they need to get rid of it. They bought a collection. Just like I did. I bought a collection because there was a couple pieces that I wanted for myself, and then, you got to take it all. So you got to get rid of the rest of it, and then, maybe you get it at wholesale or whatever. So that's what you do. But yeah, I mean, you're not paying buyer's premium. Yeah, yeah, the ability to network at a show, it does pay dividends going forward for sure. Well, it blackened it. Let's see if I can get it off. Nope. Oh, wait. Yeah, I mean, I run into people who, once they find out what you're interested in, they make contact you. Like I met someone new in Baltimore this year, and I don't normally, hadn't been to the Baltimore show in forever. And I met someone, and I bought a number of pens from him, and he contacted me last week and said, "Hey, listen, I got some pens you might be interested in." And I just sent him some money this afternoon. Oh, that's not coming off. Well, this spins a little bit, but it's definitely not ever coming off. Let's see how the blind cap turned out. But with pen shows, you're not guaranteed anything. That's the thing. You might find something, you might not. Which is one of the primary reasons I'm not going to St. Louis this year. Well, one of the strong reasons I'm not going to St. Louis this year is the last couple of times have been real close to me not like coming home with much. Bad Parakeet, what a name! Thanks for the follow. Welcome. It's much better. But I mean, it's not all about buying stuff, I mean, yeah, I got to make enough money to pay for my expenses, but I don't ever take a vacation, so nice to have a couple days at a show where I can just look for myself just for fun. You stumbled in. All right. $305. Maybe we'll let's quick put some sacks on these, and then I got to go receive that inventory in. I just got a text from my daughter. She's on her way in for the podcast. Whoops. Oh. Before I do this, I'm just gonna. I like to dip these in water right up the threads and then see if. Usually it's just enough to get something out, but then you gotta get in here and just clean this out. Well, it got pushed back. I now have like 75 pics on my desktop where I used to only have like 3. This spacer is giving me a nightmare here. There's the annual. Here's what the spacer looks like in an Esterbrook, the sack, or a sack tray, sometimes I call it. And you notice it's got this little notch here. And that lines up with where this C-ring, this lever ring is on the bottom side. I personally hate these things. And now that I know this one comes out easily, if this doesn't work for me, then we're just going to take the dang thing out. Yeah, it's going all the way back. Actually, I think it's, this thing is, oh, gotta take care of this message here real quick. Okay, well, that'll work. That one too. That's good. That one's good. All right. Let's get some sacks. Well, I guess I need a few more, don't I? Actually, these are all probably larger. So that may be all I need for now. Yeah, I think these are all probably too big. Let's try 17s on these just for... That looks good. I like there to be a little bit of space. If at all possible. And make sure you put it in the right way. I think I've only done it once where I put it in the wrong way and then I cut it off and then I looked at it and I've got, wow, I got a nice cylinder of a latex sack. That one doesn't look, it's about right, but I might check that again. Yeah, that's about right. If you take that tray out, you'll definitely get a longer sack. we get these ready to go, then that means next week I've got a bunch of desk pens that I need to get off the counter. Bunch of Sheaffers. Actually, they might be all Sheaffers. No, that's not true. I got a couple of 51s. All right. Get these sacked, and we're gonna call it a day. We'll deal with the. Oh, I've got a. There's that section for this Williamson. This is going to be the last day for this little piece of stuff here. All right, let's do these up. Let's make this a little bit neater looking tray. Morning, Andrew. Yeah, we got some nice nice Sheaffers today. batch earlier in the stream was really quite nice too. All right, 3 more to go. The fingers are getting awfully shellacky, so to speak. Kimono says hello. Welcome. All right, last but not least. Yeah. Well, that's good. I like to get to this point. Sometimes I just don't feel like getting there, but now we can assemble these and we can test these on Monday, and then we'll get back to the these two here on the end. We'll do those on Monday. We'll finish those up. The Mont Blanc Unholy Grail. You don't have much experience with Sheaffers besides an Imperial. Balances are nice. Really, really very nice pens. You know, these they're nothing, full size and oversize. Really, really great. I'm a big fan. It's a little bit, it's too late for what I typically collect, but every once in a while I do grab a balance for myself. But carmine is nice. This black and pearl, and nice clean black and pearl is really, really hard to pass up. Grays. Mont Blanc should bring out a Brian pen to celebrate the popular front of Judy. Have a good weekend, Andrew. So I like them. Actually, Sheaffer Oversized Balance was one of the first vintage pens I actually ever bought. So somewhere I have written down what, like my first 3, I think I have records of. The balance was like in the first 5, oversized balance. So anyway, I am going to call that a successful day. I've got to get ready for the podcast, which we are going to be launching somewhere between 4 and 4:20, 4:15, probably no later than that. So I got to get ready for that. I got to wash my hands and fix my hair, and check in some Twisby root beers, which hopefully came in, and I got some new Lamy stuff that came in. I got some new paper products that came in. So I got to try to get all that done in the next 45 minutes. So thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in today. Have a good rest of your afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world. Be kind, be well. We'll see you at the podcast. And then back here on Monday. All right? Take care, everyone. Bye now.